Welcome everyone to Fall MAXI 2021. My name is Amy Steinbicker and I'm the Executive Administrator for the DMAW EF. I am joined by our event coordinators, Courtney Lewis, President of the DMAW EF Board of Directors, and Leanne Doyle and Lauren Warner, who also serve on the board. We are now ready for presentation 2, which will be our team from American University. Before the team gets started, I would like to introduce our judges. We have 3 judges with us today, Marianne Chan and Lily Radke of Fuse Fundraising and Angela Strubing of Capital One. Judges, we will let American University get started. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Hello and good morning and welcome to our presentation on Toys for Tots 2022 campaign strategy for the MAXI case competition. I'm Raymond.
I'm Keevany.
And I'm Kalia.
And to get us started, here's a roadmap for the content we will be presenting in our brief meeting today. We will start with general background and insights for Toys for Tots, discuss our campaign objectives and strategy, provide you with some examples of our creative content, move on to our budget, and finish the presentation off with a brief overlook towards distribution strategy and a conclusion. So without further ado, let's talk about background. It goes without saying that Toys for Tots has a very iconic history in both its founding and mission purpose. Utilizing the Marine Network in order to provide toys for children during the holiday seasons has long been the company's most recognized claim to fame. For this campaign, we seek to build off of this incredibly positive reputation and extend it beyond the boundaries of just the holidays. In order to do so, we created a SWOT chart to map out what assets and obstacles were present. In terms of company strengths, we have the previously mentioned strong reputation of a long-standing nonprofit, a benevolent mission objective, and the perks of having prior connections with larger institutions such as the Marine Corps. In weaknesses, we found that the brand's operations seemed to be mostly tied to the winter holidays and was such limited to just a few months of the year. We also thought there was untapped potential in social media. In opportunities, we believe that there's great possibility for engagement in working with parents and their children, goodwill generation and gift giving all year round, and a shift in focus to educational toys. In threats, we found that shifting trends may endanger the demand of traditional toys and that the pandemic is still a potential problem, along with an overall reduced visits to brick and mortar stores in general. We'll touch on these as we go forward. For now, I'll pass the mic to Keevany so that she may talk about campaign strategy.
Awesome, thank you. So when we first kind of started looking at this campaign and developing our strategy, we want to take a look at actually who we're going to be targeting and who we're really going to be focusing on with our campaign messaging and just overall focus. And so in terms of how we segmented our audience, we first started by looking at ability to donate, and this specifically was informed by the age groups we're going to be looking at, and also, of course, socioeconomic status, considering who's actually financially able to have the money to donate to something like Toys for Tots. We also wanted to look at what sort of an audience would really have the interest in donating, maybe, what life stage are they at, where are they, and obviously, what they really value and kind of what characteristics they're kind of made up of and what they would, how they sort of would connect with Toys for Tots as a person and kind of looking at that connection. And so we did have some data that sort of informed our decision to create and kind of segment and target our audience. And so it goes without saying that, high income families do not only have the ability to donate, but also the interest in donating as well. So that did inform some of our decisions. Also, people who have completed college are 1.5 times more likely to give. And so that did inform our decision as well. And then lastly, we looked at some data and a study that kind of focused on how parents specifically are connected to different charitable organizations, especially when their kids start elementary school, because they're more involved with kind of, that sort of community itself. And there's more opportunities for parents to kind of donate considering their kids are in school. And then obviously that kind of desire to donate and also that kind of ability to donate continues well on into their kids' middle school years. And so thus, we created our kind of target audience and we labeled it as the PTA mom. And so specifically, we're going to be looking at middle-aged parents between the ages of 35 and 50. Upper class, they have the financial means to actually donate to something like Toys for Tots. As we did say previously, they would be mainly parents, people who really have that kind of connection with their kids and have that connection with their maybe kids' school and their kids' kind of activities. Also, as we mentioned, they would have a college degree, so they have that personal connection and really value education, which will play a part in our campaign messaging as well. Maybe they live in more suburban neighborhoods. They really feel connected and live, close to their kid's school. Maybe they drop their kid off at carpool every morning, just kind of things like that. In terms of sort of some personal characteristics, they really would value family time. Maybe they love cooking, playing tennis, activities like that. And so in terms of our campaign messaging and focus, we wanted to give off the idea that you can really give children that Christmas morning feeling all year long. So our target audience, has memories of being a kid and waking up on Christmas morning and opening gifts, or, getting fun birthday gifts throughout their childhood and stuff. And so we really wanted to tie that connection back in and to sort of kind of make that a big focus of our campaign, is how you can give someone that feeling for the entire year. We also wanted to look at specifically how educational toys play a role in helping kids in need. We wanted to focus on the literacy program which Toys for Tots has and kind of really bring that out throughout the January to September months. And also look at how you can give educational toys to really change a kid's life as well. Our campaign does have more of an emotional appeal to it. We wanted to look at really the impact of donations and focus less on what you're donating, but kind of how that donation changes a kid's life and kind of the people behind donations as well. And so really having that aspect of storytelling was important for us in our campaign messaging. Thus, our campaign is called Real Stories, Real Change, and our tagline is that we want to unpack the meaning behind the gift that keeps on giving. And so again, really focusing on the impact behind donations and how they can change kids in needs lives. So in terms of some kind of brief campaign goals, we wanted people to become aware of Toys for Tots year round and kind of really consider Toys for Tots as a place they can donate to from the January to September time period. We want to utilize the theme of Christmas, which is very strong with the current Toys for Tots kind of mission and purpose, and really tie it into other holidays as well, and just really emphasize that power of gift giving all throughout the year. And lastly, we do want to really highlight the kids and stories and impact behind Toys for Tots. And one of our main goals is to increase donation consideration during the January to September time period by 35% among our target audience.
We also utilized our projected ROIs in order to estimate the realistic percentage of outreach we could gain. For example, in social media, our goal was to reach around 1,404,000 individuals for each of our 3 social media channels. But projections of actual responses is only 0.1%, which will result in only 4,320 responses. The same formula was utilized for the other channels as well.
And so in terms of our campaign tactics, our first sort of goal and kind of execution strategy would be to do a social media rebrand that would take place between January and September. This would include a new updated logo we created, and also that logo can be used as new profile pictures for the different social media accounts that Toys for Tots has. We have some branded content, which we'll show you in a minute, that really focuses on the campaign's message and that strong focus on changing kids' lives and kind of the stories behind donations. And the goal of this social media rebrand and kind of looking at, the owned content that Toys for Tots has is to increase year-round engagement. Another tactic we had is to really focus on pushing social media ads and also emails and like newsletter reach out as well to really specifically reach our target audience, since that age group and that demographic is well known for responding well to email newsletters and donating through that kind of an online platform. Really using these ads to push for kind of a call to action, really getting people inspired to donate throughout the year, and obviously to reach new people and to really get increased followership on our social media accounts and increase year-round donations.
So onto our proposed content. So we have a new campaign logo that we're proposing that Toys for Tots would ideally use from around January to September when it's not the holiday seasons. And so for this, we just changed the colors to be as holiday neutral as possible. However, they are still bright and vibrant, just similarly to the current red logo. We also have removed the stars from the wheels to really just emphasize a holiday neutral theme. And again, you will see the colors here, the vibrant colors just reoccurring throughout our creatives. So on to some examples here. Here are some examples of some Facebook or Instagram posts that can be utilized on all channels. They utilize our logo colors, which are very vibrant and bright and grasp the people's attention. It also emphasizes the impact, both including the kids who actually are impacted as well as the volunteers and the history tied with the Marines. We also emphasize the literacy program as well and different channels in which Toys for Tots currently has to encourage people to donate and give back. Again, here are some examples and references for stories that could potentially be used. And here is an example of a Facebook ad that again just really emphasizes the face behind the impact of the campaign. Here is another reference of an example for a Facebook ad. And again, here is another one which really, again, ties with our campaign. And so here's an example of a hypothetical post that you could do. Studies have often shown that people respond really well to seeing faces on social media and love to engage with that. So alongside that, and just again, with our campaign of really emphasizing the impact and the face behind the donation, this would be a great post. And this post surrounds just a birthday gift instead of a Christmas gift, which works really well year round. And this post is really great as well because it's not necessarily just saying, here, we want you to donate here and now. It's just really trying to engage authentically as well with the followers of just really being like, what's your favorite childhood toy? Everyone has a favorite childhood toy. So this is a really great post to start that engagement. And as for the video, this is a video hypothetical layout that you can utilize the children that you've actually impacted and over the course of Toys for Tots' long 74 years. I'm sure there's a plethora of amazing stories that you can pull from, but you can also include, again, the Marines, their experiences coming back from war and how, you know, helping with this has really helped them, and even other volunteers as well.
We also created an example email newsletter that could be used and sent out to our target audience. And so as you can see, the subject is Give Kids in Need That Christmas Morning Feeling All Year Long. So again, really focusing on this year-round approach. And as you can see as well, we really focus on the real stories, real change aspect of our campaign. Having an example of a kid and, you know, an educational toy that helped her, you know, learn how to kind of build and construct and maybe have an interest in that kind of stuff. And so again, just overall focusing on expanding the donation thought and kind of time period to year round, and specifically reaching our audience through something like email.
Now on to budget. As video production is expensive with all these components, we had to factor in the most realistic way of getting that done in cost without taking up too much of the budget for actual advertising. At the end, we projected around $18,000 to get through the entire process. With that out of the way, the rest of our budget was focused on first testing the viability of the different social media channels, and then directing the remainder into actual rollout based off which channel was successful and which wasn't, and calculations of which you can reference in the appendix. We found social media and newspaper to be the most effective and also utilized email, paid search, and display to achieve more outreach through variants. In the end, we ended with $346 remaining in the allocated budget of $100,000. While our primary goal is to generate awareness, achieving some net profit is still beneficial to the organization's mission. In gross revenue, we managed to achieve positive ROI primarily through a focus of both social media outreach and newspaper, as all the other channels had negative returns. And with that, I will now transition to distribution tactics for the year. Our strategy is centralized around enlisting the help of volunteers, such as those of other nonprofits, Marines, and high schools who need service hours for requirements to distribute toys at high traffic areas, such as schools, summer camps, pediatrician offices, and malls. It would also be advantageous to implement an online order system to have hired workers deliver toys for those who are physically unable to reach these high traffic locations. And now on to the conclusion. In this presentation, we talked about Toys for Tots' background and foundational advantages and weaknesses, described our target market of PTA moms and how to best reach them, provided a take on how to best utilize social media more to grow the brand, and provided an overview strategy for distributing toys throughout the year. Thank you so much for listening, and we will now begin the Q&A.
Wonderful, thank you. And we'll have Mary Ann begin with the first question.
Hi, everyone. Great job. I wanted to see, what did you think was most interesting, or was anything that stood out as really surprising as you were working through this?
I would have to say, again, like I've always seen Toys for Tots, especially around the holidays. There's one just right down from my apartment from me, actually, that I see. And I would have to say, just really seeing how long it has been around, and seeing again, like how all the Marines and everyone is always involved in that way was really like powerful for me to see that it's been around for like 74 years. And I think another thing as well was, I think for sure that was the main thing. I think also for me, seeing just how much programming is already there, like the literacy program, building a virtual box, or even having people, help with an IRA for people. Just there's already so much programming there. So for us, it was just about making sure, further continuing that great work and, making sure that that's further promoted even more.
I think for me also, I have very much an interest in sort of like digital marketing and social media. And I feel like, as, college kids, we are very kind of in that world of digital marketing as well. And kind of, we live with social media and we're, kind of growing up with it and stuff. So I think it was really cool to take a look at something, an organization that, maybe their target market is not us and, we're not people trying to reach, but it was cool to kind of get our perspective on it and kind of look at it through our lens, I think also. And it was just really cool to kind of apply our knowledge of social media and digital marketing to this organization and to kind of their mission as well.
For me, doing research on Toys for Tots, I was really impressed by how their supply chain works, how they can manage to get all these volunteers around all 50 states to help out. That was really impressive to me, how they consistently did this from just volunteer work.
Awesome, thank you.
I can ask a question too. Great job, everybody. This is more of just a clarifying question, but I was curious. So when you were looking at your target audience, you had named them, and sorry if I don't remember, it was PTA mom, I believe. I love that. I was just curious when you were looking at your branding and your messaging, was it specific to like female, like to moms, or was it parents in general, like mom and dad? Is that what you were looking at, or was it, I guess I just wanted to clarify the audience selection.
Yeah, so yes, PTA mom was kind of the persona we created. It definitely was a little bit more female oriented, I feel like. And I did also find some research that women are kind of more inclined to donate to charities like this and have more of an interest in donating throughout the year as well. So a lot of it wasn't specifically branded towards females, but definitely kind of had a more of a focus, I guess, on them as well. Just considering their kind of interest in donating. But really our main focus was kind of just parents in general who kind of have kids in that age range who maybe are, the ones who are dropping their kids off at school and doing carpool and that kind of stuff, who have that connection to kind of, the educational aspect that we were going toward, but definitely more of a female focus, I feel like, with our target audience and with our campaign messaging and focus as well.
Great, thank you.
I was hoping, excuse me, again, thank you, great presentation. Could you talk a little bit about more how all of the creative are cohesive and work together, and like how you kind of envision that in your campaign and seeing them across platforms? I'm specifically thinking about that page that I think you had 8 different ads on, and just visually, how are you thinking about them working together?
Yeah, so I can speak for that. So for that specific page that had 8 different posts, those are mainly just, we would incorporate those posts within like the Instagram feed or, within the main overall feed of Facebook. And we would incorporate, again, a lot of original photos and content that you guys would ideally have or capture, just in terms of faces of the volunteers, just normal pictures. We would also want to incorporate, photos of kids. I saw recently on the Instagram that you guys incorporated an awesome story of a kid who did provide a lot of volunteer work for Toys for Tots. So just doing more of that, but what those posts would incorporate more of kind of an infographic feel and also an educational feel, kind of building off of what we wanted to touch on before. And so what ties all the posts together is there's always usually a Toys for Tots, like our campaign logo down in the corner, or it has, like the colors and the themes, and similar fonting across the board. So there's a familiar brand kit that will tie everything together. But again, the goal of those specific posts is to just, again, like really emphasize the already amazing aspects of the company, which is that there's a literacy program. I'm not sure, how many other people maybe are aware of it, though you guys have done amazing work with that. So really just emphasizing again, the Marines and the volunteer that they do, And so for that, it would just be the logo, a familiar brand kit of having familiar fonts, and also utilizing and tying in the logo colors throughout it.
Got it. Thank you.
I noticed that there was a lot of focus on digital marketing, and Keegan, you had mentioned that there's an interest there for you specifically, so it totally makes sense. In terms of where direct mail may fall into this, I saw that it was within like your budget and all of that, but can you speak a little bit more about how you think that that could come into play in tandem with all the digital marketing?
Yeah, so I feel like it definitely, like digital mail, I know that was kind of a part of our budget, not a huge focus of our campaign, but definitely was there. I feel like that could still kind of be incorporated through similar branding and similar kind of keeping that message very strong and cohesive through direct mail marketing. And so I think our kind of goal with that would be to sort of, make sure that everything is well branded and focus on like really highlighting the stories behind Toys for Tots and really focusing on kind of maybe the educational aspect throughout the year. But digital marketing was kind of our main focus just because of the target audience and because of kind of how efficient it is in reaching people, especially considering kind of the way that the pandemic has changed everything and how, we're living in such a virtual world. We felt like it would be a good way to sort of communicate with our target audience, just considering everyone is very much kind of fluent in like this social media language that we're using and stuff. So that was kind of our main focus just because of their interest and their ability and our ability to reach out to them as well and to really tap into that market. But digital mail would, I think, follow a very similar sort of outlook and follow very similar messaging and approach as well.
I can add on a little bit as well. We also wanted to have more channels to have more variance in how we actually reach our audiences. In our segments for the audience, some of them, a percentage of them were more inclined to actually, they still utilized mail. It's still a way to get to them. So having direct mail we thought was a great way to supplement our social media focus.
Okay, thank you.
We have time for one more question. If any of our judges want to ask a question, or we can conclude.
One more, if you have time. I was just curious if you could talk a little bit about any competitive research that you did on similar organizations that might be appealing to the PTA mom and how your campaign is different from those.
I would have to say, in terms of research, we did look at a variety of other just general nonprofits. And there's, one called Feed My Starving Children, which is similar in the fact that it is based around like kids and getting something to children or families. And again, with looking at just across the board at a lot of nonprofits, especially with everyone having been in COVID and, everyone really just tuning in virtually to what's been happening in the world. Everyone, of course, has been wanting to contribute in some way. And so we've noticed a trend of a lot of people, again, a lot of I would say nonprofits focusing heavily again on the face of the impact, but something that really differentiates our campaign is we really emphasize Toys for Tots is very unique in the fact that it's been around for a very long time. And there's also a lot of very unique programming involved, like the literacy program, or even, like the virtual box and all of that stuff. Most people have heard of Toys for Tots, especially obviously around the Christmas time. So what's different about this versus other people's stuff is there's something so special. You guys already have such a special niche of people that already love Toys for Tots. So what is different about this versus others is, yes, while others may also emphasize the impact that they have, this actually feels maybe sometimes even closer to people, especially within the United States, because it does focus not on necessarily what's going on in a different country or, you know, getting something to, again, a completely different country, but you guys really focus like here now, like getting, you know, toys to children within the United States. And so really just emphasizing again that impact and emphasizing the Marines and emphasizing just the long-standing history is really what makes Toys for Dots different than other nonprofits as well, but also makes our campaign different from others because a lot of people don't have that long-standing history. And if they do, they don't have such a niche following, if that makes sense.
I think also what sets Toys for Tots apart, and also this campaign as well, is that it focuses a lot on gift giving, which is such a special feeling, and a lot of people really connect with that. Like everyone can remember their favorite birthday gift they've gotten, or just, you know, the aspect of giving someone a gift and actually feeling like you're really getting something special. It's a very interesting way to kind of, you know, touch people's lives. It's not just like you're being handed a donation, but it's a gift. You know, there's thought behind it. It's thoughtful. So I feel like that's what really sets this campaign apart too, is that it's focused on kind of the actual action and kind of the intent behind giving someone a gift, not necessarily just donating because you think it's a good thing to do, but why you're actually doing it is because you want to actually give someone that special
step in. So that is the end of our time for today. So thank you for your presentation, and it's time for us to wrap up. I would like to thank American University for serving as presentation number 2 today. I would also like to thank our judges for being here with us this morning, Marianne, Lily, and Angela. On behalf of the DMAW EF Board of Directors, thank you for serving as our judges. At American University, you are free to go, and remember that we will be sending out the results of the competition within the next few days. And judges, if you can remain in the meeting for a few moments and turn off your video and audio to score your presentation, that would be great. Thank you.